considering all the tests which divine beings are going through, really divine beings, you have very tough tests. And that is why whenever you pass your tests, you end up being in where you are right now and elevating even more further to become the best version of yourselves. There are so many beings who are out there feeling insecure about themselves, and they're trying to bring you down. But hold on tight, stand your ground, and never despair, because you have the biggest support ever anyone could ever have, and that is having the Most High's support. Never despair. Never doubt yourselves. Never think you're on the wrong track, because your biggest tests are coming always generally from people who are insecure and having narcissistic kind of traits. As it is your whole lives, you've lived your lives with such kind of people. Talking about narcissistic kind of traits, I would like to share my views about these kind of traits, which I seem to have passed through all my life. From the time I was born to this day, the kind of narcissistic trait that I understand, or rather, the way I view narcissism is, they're just people who are insecure about how they feel towards life and how they think other people think about them. And they feel such kind of a great shame about whatever they are feeling, and they think that makes them weak. And because they think it makes them weak, they wear masks in order to cover that. And because they wear masks, they think they are able to wear any other kind of mask which they want. So they look around for any kind of a mask or character or personality which they like, and they try to imitate that. And once they imitate that kind of a character, they try to destroy those people who have those kind of traits which they are imitating or they want to embody, because they believe there should be only one of that kind. And they believe as long as they've mastered that kind of imitation or kind of trait which they have chosen, none other should be existing. So they try to destroy the person who they are imitating. And this is just how they are. There is no logical reason towards this in any way. It's just how they are. And there are so many different types of narcissism. So many different. There is passive and there is active. And when you're talking about active and passive, these are also branching off to so many other kinds. The active one also branches off to something else. And the passive one also has its own types. And you might end up with a very long list of different types of narcissism. And most of the time, the narcissist, the main goal is to destroy anything which they see as beautiful. Destroy anything which they see which is good. Because anything which they come across which is beautiful or good just reminds them of the ugliness which they feel about themselves. And because they are made to feel that kind of way, they try to destroy whoever intimidates them into or triggers them into feeling that kind of feeling. They don't want to feel that feeling. That's why they always wear masks, so that they can cover those feelings. So for them, it's just natural and logical to destroy anything that makes them feel uneasy in any way. And it's not because they are jealous in any way. It's not because they feel like some kind of insecurity. Okay, it's insecurity, but it has nothing to do with jealousy. It's just that they feel triggered, and all their emotions which they're trying to hide are being brought out. So they're trying to hide those. The kind of, the general narcissistic kind of a strategy which they normally use is, at first, they measure you out. They make you really feel like they care, they love you, and they really want to help, to be part of your life. They gain your trust totally. And then they start gaslighting you. Just once in a while, not always. They start testing you to see how much you can persevere towards their gaslightings. If you pass and you're not reactive, and you don't react in the way they expect you to, they run away because they cannot stay in any kind of positive situation. Not reacting to a narcissist means that you are in a very positive kind of a situation that they cannot handle that. They cannot handle the light. They need darkness in order to survive. So when they gaslight you and you start having low vibration, it means you have just entered into their trap, their net. So it would be easy to manipulate you. But if you don't show any kind of reaction and you show your boundaries, they cannot stay around you further. So they run away. But at the same time, if at the beginning you showed them codependence and later on showed your boundaries when you feel like things are not going, like things are not right, and you start putting boundaries, they get angry. Because the time when you were showing your codependency to them meant that for them it means like you were just one of their properties. They feel you're like a thing that belongs to them. And when you put out boundaries and you walk away, they feel like one of their things has walked away from them, and so they will fight to get it back. because it's a thing that belongs to them, and that's how they feel whole. By possessing things and enslaving people. And they will not rest until they enslave you again and make you codependent. So at first they gain your trust, and then it's like they're showing you like they're supporting you, very huge support, and you really believe in them. They show you everything that they think you want, and you believe that. But then a time comes when you really start glowing up and you start shining. If you're shining in any way, they start demeaning you and lowering you so that they can put you in a low vibration, trying to make you second guess yourself and trying to make you feel like you don't know what you're doing. And that way, they can feel their grandiose, the bigness which, that way they are able to feel the bigness which they have within themselves. If you ever end up in a low vibration, and the manipulation starts there, because they only feel strong if they're able to manipulate people into doing things. Now, divine beings, you need to be very, very careful, mindful, and discernful about who you listen to and who you don't listen to. There are people who really support you, and there are people who just look like they support you for a certain period of time, and then just in order to get control over you, they start manipulating you by starting to demean you, by gaslighting. Now online, there are some people who give good advice, and there are some people who just look like they're using good advice to give out to people, but at the same time, they really don't mean it. It's just a way to lure people towards where they are, collecting people so that people will gather around them. Divine beings, your job, if in any way, if you're a chosen one, if the Most High has chosen you, your job is to illuminate your light onto whatever which is being shown, and to bring out the truth of everything which is existing. And this is what they are afraid of. The minute they start feeling that you're illuminating, I'm talking about the people who are pretending to be supporting, but just doing it in order to gain recognition and gain admiration from people, and in a way just to increase their finances, and really not really meaning to do it for the sake of the Most High. They will make it look as if they're supporting you, and really supporting you, and they give you hope, big hopes, They pamper you with a lot of praises and try to give you a picture of how great you are. And then sometimes some of them are really gifted and they can see the truth and they tell the truth about how you really are, but they tell you how you are. They try to tell you how you are, but in a grandiose way, praising you so that you feel safe. And when you start feeling safe, you start trusting them. And the minute they start feeling that you have put your total trust onto them, their game comes in, and it's high time for them to start playing games with you. This time, in order to gain control over you, they start manipulating you psychologically to make you think that whatever you're doing is wrong, to make you think that you're going to make mistakes, and without their advice, without them guiding you, you can't get anywhere. And it's not like that. Most of the time, they make people get addicted to them. And when the addiction is at the highest point, that's when they start manipulating people by demeaning them and trying to make people prove to them that they are good or anything, whatever, to make people prove something. And sometimes it's not just like that. Sometimes you need to take baby steps in order to develop. You need to move in a very certain way in order to get to where you need to go. But these people, they try to hasten everything. They try to make you do things quickly. And this is one of the manipulative way narcissists use, making people hurry up in doing something so that they will not have think twice about what they are doing. And then they make mistakes and they lose. Yeah, they lose because anything which is done in haste is just a devil's work sometimes, or rather most of the time. Sometimes we need to hurry up in doing some things, but not in a manipulative kind of a way. Only you, with your discernment, you with your mindfulness, and thinking out of the box, being really discernful, only you can know how you're supposed to move. And you need to be comfortable in how you move. If you move and do any action just because somebody is telling you to do so, that's not being discernful or mindful in any way. It's just being manipulated by somebody else. What is the use of God giving us a thinking brain or mind if we are just going to follow what other people are telling us? They are not doing that. Why are we doing that? Who is telling them what to do and what not to do? Who? They will say, okay, Spirit told me to say this. No, I don't think so. Some of them, they go about, okay, they feel like there's something, so they start going outside the laws, and they do it out of ego. Because if somebody starts manipulating somebody else, it's done out of ego. That has nothing to do with divine messaging. So we need to be really discernful about who we are listening to and who we are not listening to. There are genuine people who really care about people, and they really give good advice. But there are some who are just out there to create some kind of conflict and to confuse some divine beings, just in order to get recognition from people. What is the use of getting likes and shares and subscribers who just follow you just because they think you are cool or something like that? Or, yeah, this person is really fiery to say so, when the person doesn't really care about what other people really feel or think, or the consequences of whatever they are saying. What is the use? There is no use about that, because the person is just thinking of what they can gain, and they're not thinking about what the other person is going to gain, or the consequence of whatever they are saying. You can give advice, and the advice can be applied to or not, according to whoever chooses to use it or not. But when manipulation comes in, that is not advice, it's manipulation. And it's narcissistic. And that's against the natural laws. And that has nothing to do with divine messaging. There's a difference between caring about people and trying to make people live their lives and helping other people and making a show so that people just recognize you or applaud you. Because if you care, if you really care and you did something, you would do it for the sake of God. And not just because you want some people to comment something nice about you or just praise you. Somebody who cares for other people really would not wait for people to praise them, or would not expect any kind of praise, because they know whatever they are doing is for the sake of God, and it is for mankind's guidance. It is for the goodness of people. But if anything which is done out of ego, and anything done out of narcissistic kind of a trait is done, it has no good for anyone. Even though the advice might seem like it's a good thing, but as long as it manipulates the person, it's not good. Because it doesn't give the person a choice of choosing. Manipulation, that's the job of manipulation. It doesn't give you choice. So let's be mindful, divine beings. Because I've faced such kind of things. People coming up and pretending to really be supportive about such kind of a thing, and after a certain period of time, after gaining your trust, they start demeaning you and trying to make you confused and second guess yourself. And such people are just either they're doing it out of their own ego, or so that people will see like, yeah, this person is really has something or something like that. They're doing it out of ego, or they're working for somebody else. Your enemy sent them, because there are some people online who have been sent by the enemy specifically just to manipulate people, the divine beings, so that they don't reach their goals, so that they lose. They have been specifically sent. And they can do this. They can wait for years before they make their attack. They can wait a whole year until they gain your trust, and then they do their attack. And some divine beings really fall for the traps, and they lose hope and give up from their journeys and assignments. So let's all be mindful and discernful about who we are listening to, how we are listening to. Let's think twice before we do anything. And even for those people who are doing it out of ego, I would like to advise them to think twice about what you're talking about. Because whatever you are doing in order to manipulate another person, right now you might think you are living the best life you're living. But in a year's time, even not a year's time, just 6 months is enough to have you destroyed by doing such kind of a deceitful action. And you deserve to be punished for it. You deserve it because you did it to yourself. If you spoil another person's life, your life deserves to be spoiled. So let's all be mindful about what we are doing and what we are not doing, about how we are talking, about all the advice we are giving to people. If you destroy any other person's life just because you want to gain something, or you think you will steal somebody else's journey or destiny just because you want to gain something, it will not last. Use it while you can, because it will not last. That also will be destroyed, and it deserves to be destroyed. So let's all be mindful and discernful. Let's choose wisely about what we are doing and what we are not doing. Because what we do today dictates how our future is going to be. What you're doing today is how your future is going to be. What goes out always comes back. What you give out is what you will get back. So that's what I'm guided to give today. And I would love to send peace, love, and unity to everyone. May you all stay in God's blessings and never lose it.